Before we start, quick disclaimer. Anything I discuss in this video is just a small, tiny little fraction of your human design. Your human design is very complex, very in-depth, and this is just a jumping off point, like a catalyst for your experiment. So take what resonates, leave the rest, and experiment with it. So before we explore your profiles, let's first see how to find them. So when you go to your chart, you will notice these two little squares up here on top. I have a 30.1 and a 14.3. So you'll see down here, I have that I'm a 1-3 self-projected projector. How I get that 1 and 3, which is my profile, is I choose the numbers that are behind the points. So 30.1 and 14.3. So 0.1 and 0.3, that is where the 1-3. You might have a 2-4 or a 6-3 or a 5-1. You can have any variation of number between 1 and 6. And you can think of the profiles in human design as like the personality type of your energy type. So for instance, earlier I said I was a 1-3 self-projected projector. All projectors have the same wait for an invitation. They experience bitterness. They experience success. They need recognition. They kind of all have those same things in common. But being a 1-3 gives me a little bit of a different spin than say like a 5-1 or a 4-6. So, and same is true for any of the other types. So your first number is conscious and your second number is subconscious. So you're going to really feel your first number more consciously than your second. So for instance, I am a 1-3, profile 1. That is the first number. So that's the number I feel really conscious in, and I feel really comfortable just like identifying with. The 3, which is my second number, that's more subconscious. So those are traits that other people notice about me or you when talking about your own profile, or things that maybe are a little bit more of a reach or a stretch to fully own about myself sometimes. So when we think of each number 1 through 6, we can think of it as kind of like a house, but and the house is split into two. You have the lower trigram and the upper trigram. So if you are a profile 1, 2, or 3, you are going to really play out your personality or any, karmic missions you have in this life through interpersonal growth and communication and kind of focusing on yourself. You're part of the lower trigram. If you're part of the upper trigram of 4, 5, and 6, you're really designed to also work on yourself, but you might find that maybe your biggest lessons or your best lessons or your best work comes from this interpersonal connection and feedback loop if you have a 4, 5, and 6. And if you have a combination of the two, say you're a 5-1 or a 2-4, then you're going to have both elements of some personal work as well as some interpersonal where you're just bumping into people along the way and learning from them. Profile 3, this is like one of my favorite gifts. I just think it's so funny. A profile 3, also known as the explorer. You're here to experiment with life through trial and error. And I think this gift is just such a great example of that, because who would have ever known that puddle was gonna eat him alive? But now that he knows, now that he's jumped into it, he's probably learned a lot, because as a profile 3, you need to experience what does not work to know what does work. So if you are a profile 3 or a profile 6 going through the first kind of 30 years into kind of the middle 30 years of your life, you're definitely going to be someone who just does and then experiences it. And then you're like, ooh, I'm never doing that again. Or, okay, I'll do that again, but next time I'm not going to do this part of it. You might definitely jump in head first. So by jumping in head first, that makes you really resilient. I mean, you need to be really resilient to come out of a situation like that. You might be a little bruised and a little battered, but now you know better. And you're also naturally curious, because again, there is actually a story in human design about how a profile 2, they'll just walk around a hole in the ground, but a profile 3 will literally jump into the hole and climb out of the hole and tell everyone like, oh my gosh, you need to go down there. This is what's down there. Or, oh no, don't avoid this hole. Don't jump in. It's a cave down there, whatever. You're going to be a really curious person. And with that curiosity and with that experimentation, you might find kind of a bonds made and broken kind of pattern where you're really trialing and erroring and immersing yourself in a world. And then you realize The world isn't for me, it is for me. I've gotten whatever lesson I needed out of it. I've experienced what I need to experience. Now I'm on to the next thing. And you might find that you leave a lot of people and things from the old world, old life, old experiment. You leave them where they were at and you kind of move forward without them. And I know for a lot of business owners who have threes or sixes can feel really guilty about this, especially for when it comes to like not working with clients who align with you as much. They might have aligned with you at some point in your business, but as you evolve and change, they're definitely not going to come with you most likely. And that goes for like not only people, but for like programs or for services. You might have a hard time letting it go sometimes. Or on the flip side, you might find yourself just burning everything down every single time and then maybe being like, oh, I shouldn't have burnt it all the way down. I needed some pieces of it. But that's just the experimenting process for you. That's the trial and error process for you. So some things that are going to be really helpful or in alignment with a business owner who has a profile 3 are things like case studies. Again, you had this experiment, you potentially had this hypothesis, you went through it with a client, and now, they had successes or maybe even failures. Because again, highlighting your own personal growth, but also highlighting your failures. Because people find profile 3s brave. I've been called brave a lot as a profile 3, and it's funny because it's just never a word I ever think of myself. But it's because I'm willing to move across the country or go to tattoo school and then decide, oh, I don't really want to tattoo and just never touch any of that stuff again. Like people just find that so interesting and so brave. So highlighting your failures, highlighting your personal growth, maybe highlighting case studies that didn't necessarily go so well. That's actually something that your audience is going to really appreciate and love, because they love the experimentation that comes with a 3, because you're not afraid to just do it and try it and figure out if it works for you. Try before you buy or beta testing your offers or content is also going to be really aligned. It's something that I do in my own business. I have an idea for something that I might want to start offering as a service. And so I'll reach out to some people who I think might be interested and just beta test it. And I've had things that I thought were going to go great. And then I did the beta test. I was like, oh, I actually don't want to do that at all. People love it. It's a lot of fun for you too. It really scratches that experimentation, trial and error. So if you feel like you need some spaces to kind of let out that energy in your business, definitely try some case studies or just some experiments and tell people about the experiments. Let them watch you go through that process. Because again, not everyone is willing to jump into this crazy puddle. And so people love watching you. So some reflection questions for if you lead with profile 3 energy, profile 3-5 being the first, is how are you utilizing trial and error before providing solutions? As a 3-5, you're great at coming up with solutions for other people, and people might come to you asking you for solutions. But unless you trialed and errored the solution you're going to give, it might not always align. You need to have tangible evidence that the thing you're suggesting works, and people subconsciously are coming to you for that because they know you trial and error stuff and they know you have solutions. But if you just provide solutions that you read about or you had other people hear about or that you've heard from other people, you're just providing solutions just to provide solutions without it truly being aligned to you. You have any case studies? Do you have any stories about your own personal growth that tie in with the solution? Did you try it? Any of that stuff. So make sure you're utilizing trial and error as well as providing solutions, and not just providing solutions just to do it, and also not just trial and erroring every single thing. Again, you have to use your own discernment, and also being able to let people know, like, I'm unsure, I don't have the right solution, being very transparent that this is something I've only ever read. I can give you, information for someone who maybe could give you more specific answers are always great solutions for profile 5 for someone who has a profile 5 in them. And then for a profile 3-6, your reflection question is, how are you engaging with this trial and error to embody wisdom? Profile 6s are very wise, very future thinking. They know there's more beyond this, mortal realm that we're just walking on all the time. So as a 3-6, are you just trialing and erroring just to do it, just to experience everything? Or are you using that to also help embody wisdom? How are you using these lessons Because another thing with a 3 is mistakes, jumping in the hole. Some people might look at that and think, wow, you should not have done that. You have bruises everywhere. You're like, no. But for you, it's like, no, now I know this is a deep hole. Now I know how resilient my body is. Like, you use these as lessons. So how can you use these lessons to embody wisdom and not just let these be mistakes or things that you regret, but how can you use them to really embody wisdom and go forth in your personal journey and become that sage person that you are destined to be with that profile of 6. If you love this presentation and if you love this work, I would love to connect. I'd love to support you as you kick off your holistic marketing and business and self-discovery journey. You can schedule a vision exploration call and we'll look at your business systems. We'll look at your human design chart, your astrology chart. We'll also talk about opportunities to like align all of those and how we can work together. So you can find the link at JumeirahPayne.com. You can also email me, Jumeirah@JumeirahPayne.com. Find me on LinkedIn, follow me on YouTube, do all the things. I would love to connect with you to make your business better. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.